I can't think of a meal more comforting than sauce that has been simmering on the stove all day. This recipe for Sunday sauce definitely requires time and patience, but having a giant pot of delicious sauce for pasta or a lasagna will make it all worth it. There's a bit of prep work needed before we get the sauce going, starting with the mirepoix or sofrito, since we're making an Italian-inspired sauce. Finally, dice onion, carrot, and celery and set that aside. We'll also mince some garlic to add in the sauce later. Next, add 2 cans of San Marzano tomatoes into a blender with a red bell pepper and fresh oregano and pulse until smooth. I like the vegetal flavors that the bell pepper will bring, and this is going to be a very meat-heavy sauce, so the bell pepper will also help brighten it in a way. Speaking of meat, we have a pound each of ground pork, ground beef, and Italian sausage, and a couple of extra sausage links to add to the sauce. In a large pot or Dutch oven, brown the pork, beef, and sausage, and break up the meat into finer pieces. We'll season as we go here with a bit of salt and pepper. Next, add in the sofrito and let that sweat out with the meat. Stir in the garlic, some dried chili flakes, and Italian seasoning blend. Pour in a healthy glug of dry red wine and let that cook off until the wine has mostly evaporated. Next, add in some bay leaves and the blended tomato mixture, stirring that all up and let it come to a boil. Now I'm going to give you the best cooking advice I could give anyone. It's actually kind of a two-parter, so it's like you're getting a 2-for-1 here. Don't buy pre-grated cheese. Get whole blocks instead. It's usually better quality and it tastes better than the pre-grated stuff. Plus, pre-grated cheese tends to be more expensive and is coated with preservatives that keep it from clumping together in the bag, which means it won't melt as well as freshly grated cheese. If you've seen my other videos, you might have noticed that I use a rotary grater, which lets me grate a bunch of cheese in 5 seconds without breaking a sweat. So there's no reason to buy pre-grated cheese at all. So here's the second part of my cooking advice that's actually relevant to this recipe. Now that you're getting whole blocks of Parmesan cheese, don't throw out the rind. We go through Parmesan cheese like crazy here, and every time we get down to the rind, I just throw it into a Ziploc baggie and keep it in the freezer. And I add it to sauce or soups or stews, and it just releases this amazing, rich umami flavor. Do you know that Whole Foods actually sells just the rind? That's crazy. You've already bought the parm, you might as well get all of your money's worth. So once the sauce comes to a boil, add in a chunk of parm rind and the extra sausage links, and bring the sauce down to a simmer with the top partially covered. We're going to let this simmer as long as we can, at least 4 hours, but the longer the better. Make sure to give it a stir every now and then. Once your kitchen smells so amazing that you can't stand it, give the sauce a taste and adjust the seasoning if needed. You can serve this with your favorite pasta noodle. Just be sure to remove the bay leaves and what's left of the parm rind before tossing the pasta into the sauce. I also recommend topping the pasta with a big spoonful of fresh ricotta and grated Parmesan cheese. The sauce also tastes better the next day, so you're going to be so glad you made a big pot of it.